Good afternoon. Welcome to Above the Treeline. This is Canyon Commentary, episode 0, where I talk to you about the fun in starting a small business. Let's get to it. So the first thing about starting a business is there's a lot of nerves involved up front. Like, are you going to be successful? Do you want that kind of exposure? But once I actually got over my initial nerves, filling out the paperwork was actually pretty easy. Fill out a form, pay the state $50, and lo and behold, you're a business owner. Then comes the fun part of, websites and sales tax permits, which is a kind of a funny thing in its own right, where you have to pay the state money in order to, basically, you have to pay the state permission in order to remit it, sales tax, from the work that you do, which is kind of hilarious. And then you also have to learn all the ins and outs of your state's, taxation rules. Like Colorado is called a home rule state, where you have certain cities have what's called an economic nexus. If you didn't know what those terms were before, you sure as heck do need to know them when starting a business. So figuring all that out, what permits do you need, who tax to, all that stuff. Thankfully, my site provider handles most of that for me, so that's actually fairly straightforward. But why a LLC? Why this instead of just a YouTube channel like everybody else on the internet? Well, it's in the name, limited liability. Separates my professional life, or I should say separates the business from my personal life. When I start talking things about my health journey, for example. Dang algorithm. Now where was I? Oh yeah. Those are going to send algorithms and lawyers into a tizzy. So I have to be very careful about how I broach those subjects, what I talk about, how I talk about it, and keeping it under the umbrella of an LLC protects me and protects my family and everyone else. So that layer of protection is important. And it's also because Treeline Ventures, or Cataldo Treeline Ventures as the case may be, is about more than just commentary on YouTube, about outdoor stuff. There's a whole lot of projects and ideas that I have in mind that I need the umbrella to work under. So it gives me a great framework to where I can bring those ideas to life and just kind of, if it works, great. If it doesn't, try something else. But something else that a lot of new business owners don't say out loud is just how much regulation and compliance and time has to be spent in just keeping things orderly, making sure things are, in proper working order, right? So, just last night, I'm in the middle of polishing Canyon Commentary episode 1, about halfway through that video, and then I get an email saying, oh, Google doesn't like my store. Great. So now I have to spend 2 hours to figure that out while I'm in the middle putting the video together. I want to be out here taking videos, having these talks, not being, the compliance officer, IT specialist, tax accountant, all that other stuff that goes into running a business. But it definitely, territory, holy crap, it's bright. So those are things that when you start the business, things you have to worry about, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy in doing things you would rather be doing, like, doing the kind of work that should give you some revenue, right? You need to be set up. All of your integrations need to be smooth. Then there's the whole thing of, well, you want to get the money right now. You want your return on investment. You want your supposed clientele to pick up on what you're selling and buy it right away. But it doesn't work that way. It takes time. It takes trust. So you have to build a reputation with your brand. You have to do that up front. And that's an investment. It's a cost in time and money. So The reason why a lot of businesses fail, I think, is because they don't think, like, well, I want that reward right now. I don't realize how much time and effort this is going to take. So I'd rather pull the plug before I get too deep into it, or I lose too much of that investment. Well, there's also sunk cost fallacy on what you're doing, what you're selling as well, right? You don't want to run into the whole problem of, well, I put X thousand dollars into this, now I need to just keep going so I can get that ROI. No, but you gotta be smart about that. But for Treeline, this isn't going to be a big operation. It's a one-man show. It's just me. So it is going to take some time. It's going to be slow going. And I'm learning all this as I go, including how to film, what tools do I need, what tools do I really need, how to use them. I mean, back when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, you actually used to do things very similar to this. On trips, I would take video on my various adventures and put them into PowerPoint shows and Windows Movie Maker format. And it was so simple. You just string them together, throw in some animations, maybe some music. Good stuff. Easy. There's so much out there today. So again, I'm just figuring this all out as I go, and this is not going to be movie quality stuff. This is not going to be, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for something that's simple and something that's real. That's really all there is to it. But it does take time. And frankly, it's actually time well spent. Instead of me watching YouTube videos all the time, now I'm learning how to make them. Patreon is in there too. Working on the site, working on my nature photography, any books that I'm writing, and if there's the consultancy fee becomes real, well, I've got that too. Again, the LLC provides an umbrella where I can try all of this, because working for yourself is not necessarily a bad thing, and just do what you love. I love being out here. This is my backyard. Look what I got. I can just walk up on this ridge like it's nothing. Because I'd rather be out here talking about cool things. I've been on this trail 100 times now, and I talked about why do I carry this big backpack every single time I'm on the trail, rather than making the algorithms happy, so I can actually, sell product or get, my name out there, that kind of thing. But it's a small effort. I hope it becomes a real effort, and I hope it's something that those of you who find this, learning to start a small business, take your time, do it right, learn what you need to learn, and you're going to learn a few things along the way. You're going to make some mistakes along the way, right? But I would encourage you to try. It's kind of a mixed bag these days about how people feel about AI, but it's actually been a really big help, helping me understand the rules, helping me, even frame simple episodes like this to produce something that's genuine, puts my face on it, and something that's real without looking into, the mind of a robot, if you will. But here we go. So episode 1 is coming. Hello, around the corner, under the cliff. It'll be a few more days probably, but thanks for joining me on this preliminary episode of Above the Treeline, Canyon Commentary, and I'll see you at the summit.